Today, we are going to focus on EasyStock-in lab orders. This is a new feature which has been implemented in version 3. And for people who already use the EasyStock-in, it will open a huge new area to work on and work in the lab orders. Why do we need to go digital with lab orders? The first thing, and you will see that in all dental clinics, all of us, we have on our shelves some old dental models that we preciously keep to be used in the future. But all these models are full of dust. We don't even know what we have. We try to store them in a good way, but after a while, what do? We throw them away. There is no need to do that anymore because we can just take a very easy and fast scan of the models, and we can, and I'm going to show you how we do that, store them in the lab order. In this case, you will not need to do and redo again and again the same impressions, the opposite impression for your patient. When it is done once, you will use it again and again. So that's the first point. We need to digitally store the models online. And what about the papers? The dental lab, they send you an invoice. So if you want to go back on the details of an invoice, what can you do? You've been sending that to the accountant. The accountant has been storing that. And let's say a month after you can do it, but 3 years after, where is the invoice? What is inside the invoice? What did you pay? So this is lost because the paper, you cannot retrieve them easily. Instead of that, when you're working digitally, you can make a search on a date, a search on an order number, a search on the name of a practitioner, or a search on a patient's name. And looking at that, you will find all the orders done for this particular patient, let's say, and it will be very easy for you to know the traceability. The traceability is edited on a file, which is a PDF file, and the dental lab is going to deliver this file link to the order that is being doing. You will know also the details of the construction of what you've been ordering. Let's say, for example, I have been making a very complicated case on implants with angle abutments, screw-retained components, and all that. I need to know what I have been ordering. Once again, a week after you remember, 3 years after, you don't know. You need to keep that in your data, and you need to store that online. If it's just written somewhere, you may lose that easily, or you have the information, but you don't know where it is stored and how to go back to this information. So this program will allow you to become fully digital for the traceability of the material which has been used, for the details of the construction of your dental works, for the invoices tracking of the lab invoices, and for all the 3D models which will be linked to the patient's order. So because of that, you're going to work in a more secure way for your patients, and also you're going to save time and energy because you will get access to all this information, and you will not lose your time taking again and again impression if it's not really required. This is what we call digital communication with the dental lab. And this is the future of all of us, what we will do in the future. No need for papers anymore, but we need to have a strong basis on which we can work. The next point is that when you are dealing with patients, you need to keep the confidentiality of all what we do. In our case, the EasyStock-in program is all secured and all crypted. Everything that you send to EasyStock-in cloud is crypted. You can see that because the URL of EasyStock-in is starting with HTTPS. S means secure, means crypted. So let's go, and I'm going to show you how we can go into EasyStock-in. To go into EasyStock-in, the first thing you have to do, if it's the first time you're doing it, and I will go very fast on that, is to create my account. So you click on create my account, and you scroll here, and you put your name, your first name, your email, all your details, and then at the bottom you will decide what to do. You order for EasyStock-in demo, which is free for 1 month, or you will order for full program and you will be able to use it. You need to accept the conditions, and then you just need to register. Me, I am already registered, so I go to login. You have nothing to load. You have nothing to install. You can work on Mac, on PC, on a tablet, on your Palm, wherever you are connected to the internet, you can communicate with your program. Not only that, but several people can communicate at the same time and get access to EasyStock-in at the same time, such as the accountant, the laboratory, the secretary, the assistant, and the doctor himself. So let me go inside my program. I put my email address. You will put your email address. I have a password, and I start connecting to my account. So in that, you have different colors. The first color is the everyday practice. Most of the time, you will be working on this. The second is the report, automatic reports, and then the customized report, and we will work on that for the payment to laboratories. And the settings. You need to start with the settings. You need to start working on the settings. As long as we are going to work on the lab orders, you need to manage two things. First, you click on the green button, Manage Options. Manage Options, you have several options. These kind of options are account options, payment options, like you pay in cash, in check, or by credit card, and prosthetic stages. Prosthetic stages is the stages I usually use. Like I'm ordering for a ceramic, but not fully baked. It's a biscuit, or it's fully finished, or I have a metal try-in, or I have an appointment for occlusion. You set up what you want to do. For me, I have 3 options, and it's enough for me. But if you want to have more options than that, then you can do it. So you need to go to Manage Option and set up the prosthetic stages. How do you find that? You add a new, you select the options here, and you go to prosthetic stages. And then you order a title like a new stage. Okay? And when this is done, you can save it. A new stage will come into your options. So now you have prosthetic stages, new stage. I don't want to use it. I can delete it. I want to make a correction. I can edit it. In this case, I'm going to delete it. It was just to show you how to do. So be sure that you have prosthetic option edited in Manage Option. Let's go back to the main menu. Go down now, and we go to prosthetic option. We've been working in Manage Option. We go to prosthetic option. What is the difference? In Manage Option, you have what we call radio buttons. You can select only one option at the same time. If you click on one, it will deselect the other one. So you cannot order for 2 things at the same time to the lab. Either it's a trying, either it's finished. Okay? So we call that the Manage Option buttons. But now in prosthetic options, you may have several things to select at the same time, such as elements, framework, and layering. Elements is all what you are sending to the lab. It's important to tell them what you are selling, because in many cases, the dental lab is losing things, okay? You've been sending some parts for the components, let's say implant components, and they've been losing them. Or they don't have the opposite arch, okay? Because they receive so many impressions that it's difficult for us to manage all. So you write what you are selling as elements. So bite registration, a bite stick, a face bow, implant components, impression and opposite impression, or TARDIEU. I'm using camera, digital camera. So in some cases, I use the TARDIEU to send impression and bite. So these are the elements. You have to fill that to adapt to what you are doing. The framework full anatomy, it's either what you use inside a framework or the full anatomy like a zircon. So in this case, what I'm doing, I separate the ceramyl Z solid of 2FZ, which is the zircon, or the deucer alloy, which is a chrome cobalt, non-precious alloy, or the yellow gold, or the semi-precious. I write what I want, and I write the brand that I don't need. If you don't want to do that, you can write only precious, semi-precious, non-precious alloy. And then the layering. Layering is ceramic or composite. But you can fabricate a full zircon or a framework in zircon and ceramic over, like Emax over zircon. So select what you are doing, select what is your base choice, and you will have to select elements, framework, and layering in this case. Let's go now to the next step. Everything is done, and you can go on working. So most of the time, the order to laboratory is open on this page because we have the computer next to the dental chair, and this is what I have. I have been starting with the delivery of the version 3. This means that I have been starting a month ago, and here you see that all these cases in yellow are closed. You see closed here. This means that this has been ordered, has been received, and has been paid. And I'm going to show you the whole process about that. And after a while, step by step, all your orders will be closed. If you want to keep an order open, you keep it open until the problem is solved. Maybe you don't agree with the amount of the invoice, maybe you don't agree on this and that, and then you keep it open until it will be solved. So you can make search by practitioner. If you have several practitioners, you can select different dental labs. You can select the status open or closed, or you can select a period. For me, I will keep on current year because I'm working on that. If I work on several years, also what I can do, I can look for the patient's name, and this will allow me to find the patient's work which has been done a long time ago. So let me show you add new. I am going to add the new order. I have a patient, and by default, a certain number of things are already written, like the last dental laboratory which I've been ordering to, likes my name because the last name of the user and the date of order. The only thing we need is we need to fill the patient's name. We need to fill the work description. We need to fill the framework. And you see here that we can select several at the same time if we need. We need to select a shade and write a shade, let's say A2. And we can add some pictures, and I will show you how we do that. And you can have a shading done at the laboratory. Then the patient will be called at the lab to take an appointment. And you have the elements, like I've been sending the impression and the opposite impression in this case. And I can ask the dental lab to call me before proceeding. And when I click on that, they will receive not only call me, but they will receive with the telephone number of my office. And then you will fill the stages, like finished, and you will fill the date, and you will fill the time you want to receive the order, let's say 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, this is the way to fill, and this is very fast and easy to do. Let's go back to the orders. I don't save, and I'm going to show you some orders which have been sent on my side. So I send an order. Let me select one easy to do. I click here. This means I click to open and edit the order. I have the laboratory, I have the practitioner, I have the patient's name, I have the date of order. What do I order? A 3-unit acrylic temporary bridge from 21st to 23. Okay, I put the details of all what I want to order. If I have some things to write, I can write here. If I have a design or a drawing to send, I can send pictures, 3D images, and documents. So it's easy to send both of them. In this case, as long as the full anatomy is acrylic, I click on acrylic. The layering, there is nothing. The shade is A1. And here, I have been loading an image. So if I click on the picture here, I see the picture, and this is the picture of my patient. If I have some shadings, I can show the shadings, and I send the picture to the dental lab. No need for the dental lab to load the image. No need for him to store the image. No need to get a way to find again this image with no name and we don't know what it is. It is linked to your order. And on your side, you can just click and view, and on the side of the lab, they will be able to do the same. The other thing is the PDF. When I receive the invoice by the lab, I receive the invoice, and the lab is storing that directly on the order of the patient. So I know what is the amount, I know what has been done, and I can store that directly in the patient's file. It's a PDF file, and we can store it. And also, I will show you later, we can put the image of the STL file. The STL file is the 3D image, and this will allow me to use and reuse the same without taking new impression. In this case, I have been taking an impression. I have been sending the opposite impression. Call me before proceeding. So this is a telephone number. And I wanted that to be finished for tomorrow, 29/11 at 9 o'clock. Okay? It has been received already. This is why we have the amount and the invoice number, because I already received the job. Okay, so I can save and I can send the order to the lab. I send the order to the lab. So you see here the interface to send. I am going to remove because it's a test. And I'm going to, okay, I can send to me, and instead of sending to me, I have a comma, and I have been adding the name of my assistant, Rima. So at the same time, it's sending to me and my assistant by default. I can send to anyone else. I just need to add a new email address with just a comma. So I send, and now you're going to see what the dental lab is receiving. So for that, I need to go to my emails. I go to my emails, and I'm loading that. And I'm going to find the emails. So let's see here. My emails, I think it's going to go on spam. I'm going to move it. I open it. And here you see what? The subject of the email for the lab. I am at the lab now. Is lab order. There is the order of the order for the lab. Renita Fernandez is the name, and this is the name of the practitioner. So it's very easy now to store them all in the same folder. And if they want to look for by number or by name of patients or by a practitioner, they can do it. This is the way to store all this. Inside the mail, you have the practitioner name, the patient's name, and the order number. But the best of that is that when you click here, you will display the order. So the dental lab is now able not only to view the order, what I've been doing, the lab, the practitioner, the patient's name, the details, but here he can make changes. He can make changes on whatever he wants, and he can write some comments. So the dental lab has access to the work description. Not only to the work description, but he has access to the pictures. So when it does that, he gets access to the pictures automatically. And also he has access to load, because it can browse and load the invoice and load the traceability and load the warranty papers also. This is done automatically. You have nothing to do. It's on the side of the dental lab. But the best of that is coming from the fact now that he will be able to load the STL file. So let's have a look at the STL file. I click on that, and now it's loading. Let me show you what's happening now. We are going to display the 3D image of the arch, and this is coming in 3D. So you know what is the plaster cast image. You can see it in your patient's file, and you can also click here to download the file and use it for another case. So you don't need to take again and again the opposite arch for nothing. It is done automatically, and you can see it. So now you have the pictures, you have the STL files, and you have the invoices and all that. And you can track all in a good way. So for the rest, they cannot do anything more, and they cannot delete. If you see here, there is no delete button, but if you are looking on the file that we have on our side, let me find it now. You have a delete button, which is coming here. So this is on our side, practitioner side. You have a delete button, you have a delete button. You can delete what you want, you can add that you want, but the dental lab is restricted and it can only add. This is to avoid mistakes and allow you doing things in a good way. So what's going on with a case? So I go back to my orders, and in my orders, every time I receive an order, as you will see here, I have an order and I have been adding the price of this order, the invoice amount. How do we pay that? We pay that all together at the end of the month. Most of cases we do like that with all dental laboratories. If you want to pay one by one, of course you can do it. But if you receive a statement at the end of the month, I am going to show you how it's working. I have been making a payment last year using the version 5. So I click here, and I'm going to show you what is up. On one side, in my hand, I have the statement of account. The statement of account is showing to me a list of works which have been done during this month with an amount. The amount is there. Some few things are free, and some other things, most of them, they have an amount. So when I click here, this means that it is on the statement on one side, and I click here to make it activate, to activate it in EasyStock-in. Every time I click, I have the current amount. Let's see, I am going to add Renita. Click. When I add Renita, the full amount will be updated with Renita. So doing that, we have the full calculation of what's going on when I say. So with this, we can say that we in October been paying that at this date, and it's a group check paid to laboratories. This is for the accountancy. So I go to payment to laboratory. I don't change anything because I don't want to make mistakes. And if I want to add a new, what will happen? It will happen that in this list, I will have all the invoices which are still open. They are open until we pay them in a group, and then they will be closed. So if I click on this one and this one, the amount is changing there. It will be changed until we reach the full amount that we have on the statement. And then it's easy to know that everything has been done and everything has been stored in a good way and selected in a good way. Once again, I'm going to add this one too. Look, the amount is going to change here when I click, and the amount is changing automatically. And this will allow you to make a comparison in between the statement that you have on one end and the payment to lab. When this is done, I don't make changes. When this is done, you can then export paid invoices to the accountancy. And doing this, you have the paid invoice done during this month. And you can, no, the paid invoice, excuse me, I didn't click on the right button. Export paid invoices. And these are the paid invoices paid this month. So I have many things. And also I have all the dental laboratory, which have been paid in a group check. The check with all what I had to pay like this. For the other options, for the other items, it is just check, or it could be cash or whatever you want. So when this is done, I can export to STL and I can send that to my accountant. The accountant will be happy to know all the details of what you have, and this will allow you to track that and to avoid mistakes. So we are going to open what we send to the lab to show you, to the accountant, to show you what we are doing when we pay something and we export the data. So this is the Excel file. You have the payment date. You have the account number, supplies, and lab payment. You have the practitioner name. You have the invoice number, and you can change that if you want. It's automatic with the order, and you see that I have ordered like this. It's a number, or I have a different order with L. L means dental lab. Then I have the wording, and I have the payment amount. It's paid by check or by group check. And now the accountant is allowed to transfer that into the accountancy in a good way. So this is all what I have to tell you about that. We have an amazing new tool to work. You can start today. Everything is working. You can avoid keeping your old models full of dust. You have a full traceability. You can make a payment in an easy way with a group payment every month. And we've been able to solve all this nightmare that you have when you need to deal with the dental lab orders and the traceability of the product you're using and putting in the patient's mouth and all. So this is done for the lab orders, and we are working on the next step. The next step will be the traceability of the sterilization, and here we have something amazing that will come soon. So I give you my best regards, and I will see you later for introducing you to the new version 4, including the sterilization data. Thank you, and bye-bye.